Hi and welcome to the June review for Taurus Sun sign and Taurus rising. We start the month with the Black Moon Lilith having a couple of aspects, one from Mars, one from June. Now the Black Moon is now in your third house, is transited into Cancer, and this means that there will be a shadow cast over your dependency. Maybe that you have fears of abandonment, maybe that you feel a little bit clingy, but you need to work away from that. The goal is to become more independent and more freely a person in your own right. Now the two aspects, one from Mars, will mean frustrations will come up from the unconscious because Mars is in your 12th house. Now this is an indication that there could be some irritability or something that tends to get under your skin, but really it's coming from your unconscious. It's not coming from others. So you need to look at yourself and see where these issues are coming from. Then the other aspect from Venus will help you. Venus will always help to realign you with your purpose and what you have to do with the Black Moon now it's transiting through the third house. And the third house is about relating to others. It's about you in relationship to others, how you communicate with others, how you see the world around you in relationship to others. And there's going to be changes in this area. You have a year with the Black Moon in each sign approximately, so there's plenty of time to work with this. And we'll talk again about the Black Moon at the end of June when there's an aspect conjunction from the Sun. On the 3rd we have Mercury going station direct. This is in your sign of Taurus, it's at 26 degrees, and this is also in your first house. So now, after 3 weeks of retrograde, you need to put into practice what you've learned. Now there's a square to Saturn as well on the same day, so this will help you be practical and get things organised. Just be wary that there is an aspect from Neptune, so maybe that you're distracted with some delusionary things, some imagination or some fantasy. Now with Mercury now moving direct, it's time to put your plans into action and to finish off or fine-tune those personal changes you've been making. There may be changes to your appearance, changes to how you want to react to other people, but you can now start to put these into practice as Mercury slowly moves forward and out of the shadow period. On the 4th, Saturn goes retrograde and is stationed in your 10th house. Again, this is the second time he would be going retrograde in Aquarius, so it's a good time to look and see if there's anything you missed last time. But being in the 10th house, it's all about looking at how you deal with authority figures and power. And maybe it's time to look at how you use your power and authority. Are you compassionate and understanding of others when you're in that position of authority? Also with Saturn in this position, it's good to take a look at yourself and take stock of yourself and where you are in life, because Saturn is our older and wiser self, and it's good to look at things in that view sometimes so that you can understand better. And this is also a good time for planning and putting a strategy into place. Another very important aspect on the 4th, because we have Pallas Athena, the asteroid, coming together with Uranus. Now this is in Taurus, your sign, and the first house, 16 degrees of Taurus. So this will create a lot of dramatic social change. But you could be personally involved in this because it's right in the middle of your sign and your first house. And anyone with planets at 16 degrees of Taurus, Scorpio, Leo or Aquarius will be affected by this in a personal way. Other people won't be affected so directly. This is a great time to look at the bigger picture and give your input into how things can change for the future. Then on the 5th we have the Sun making a positive aspect with Chiron. Now Chiron, the wounded healer, is in your 12th house, so he's in the unconscious realm. But the Sun in that second house can activate him and bring him up from the depth of the unconscious. So this is when you might have to deal with issues that relate back to the past, and there may be some things that happen that trigger past wounds, but it's a good time to deal with them. And with the Sun being in your second house of finances and possessions, it could be something to do with a loss you've had around that crops up again. On the 9th is a good day to dig deep and find out some truths. It's Mercury in your first house making aspect with Pluto in the 9th. This is a house of beliefs. So it could be your personal beliefs of Mercury in your first house that are under scrutiny, and you may need to dig below the surface so that you can find some truths. Then on the 11th we have Venus coming together with Uranus. This is always a great exciting time. This is in your first house again, so this is a time you can have some fun, have some enjoyment. It's a great time for meeting new people. It may not be the start of a relationship, but it's certainly a good time to have fun and excitement with people. On the 14th we have our full moon. This full moon's in Sagittarius, the sign of fun and freedom. And it's a good time to look at certain aspects of your life, see where you need to break away from, see where you need to let go of the past and push forward. Now this full moon is also in your 8th house. So we know over the last 2 weeks there's been a lot of concentration on you personally. There's been a lot of planets in your first house in Taurus. So there's been time when you've probably not thought of others. Now with the full moon in the 8th house, it's time to think more of others, to share and to enjoy the company of other people. And this may be a good time to look at your financial plan as well. Look at your shared finances, if you have shared finances, and get those sorted. Now the other aspect we have on this day is a conjunction between Mars and Chiron. Now we had earlier the Sun making a positive aspect to Chiron, now the Mars is conjunct Chiron. So this will give you the impetus to learn and to get motivation from your past wounds. It's a time to be passionate about making changes and be a leader. Set a good example to others about how you're going to change things and to get things going in the right direction and not looking back to the past. Although there's certainly a fun element to this month, there's also a serious side, and with the Sun making an aspect to Saturn in that 10th house of yours in career, it's a good time also to be very mindful and to work within the structures that Saturn has, because he's retrograde now. It's important to listen and learn and to use your experience from the past to do things in probably a more sedate manner. Don't go rushing ahead now. This is a time to take your time and consider things carefully. Then on the 16th we have a triple conjunction. This can also be very good for you because it's happening in Taurus and your first house. This is a time when you may meet someone who could change your life in one way or another. It's a time when you'll attract people who are very similar to yourself and like-minded. And also it's a good time to just take that leap forward. We have Pallas in conjunction with Venus, and also the Moon's North Node. And the Moon's North Node is our spiritual way forward, so doors could open. Pallas Athena is about wisdom and strategy and using that to your best advantage, and Venus is about relationships and attracting positive things to you. So all in all, this is a fantastic triple conjunction and one to make the most of. On the 18th is a really good day to look at your life and evaluate things. Venus, your ruler, still in your sign but coming to the end now, makes an aspect to Saturn and another one to Neptune. So it's a good time to look at what's real and what is illusion, because Neptune is the planet of illusion, and it can fool you and trick you into false senses of security. So you need to distance yourself from your relationships and to look at the bigger picture. Saturn will help you do that and look at the structures involved in your life and see where you need to make changes, positive changes going forward. If things aren't right, you need to do it straight away, because Venus, your ruler, is about to leave your sign. So the best time to act is now. On the 19th we have Jupiter making two aspects. The first is to Mercury, and this is a positive aspect that will help you with your finances and any planning you need to do, because Jupiter is beneficial to finances, Mercury's in that second house. Now the other aspect is between Jupiter and the Black Moon Lilith. Now there's a lot of aspects of the Black Moon this month, a lot of activity going on connected with the shadow side. Now Jupiter's in the 12th house, the unconscious, so here we'll have feelings coming up, maybe suppressed feelings that are coming up from the unconscious that will want to surface and have a voice. So be very mindful of these. You might feel a little bit rebellious in nature and you may want to change things drastically, but just be careful, just make sure that you are mindful of others when you let these feelings come out. On the 21st we have the Sun at its highest point. This is the solstice, which marks the end of spring and the beginning of summer. And it's also the day it moves into Cancer and your third house. So there'll be a bigger influence now with the Sun in this area on communication and on nurturing other people. Now, the other aspect that's happening is Venus, your ruler, is coming to the end of your sign now and makes an aspect, positive aspect with Pluto. So there's great intensity of emotion on this day. And on the 23rd she leaves your sign for another year and moves into your second house and into the realms of Gemini. So again, communication will be heightened and there'll be a lot of more emphasis on the financial side of things. Two sextiles on the 27th. Mars makes sextile to Saturn in that 10th house. Remember, Saturn is retrograde, Mars in the 12th house. So this is no way is this an active dynamic aspect. This is one that will pass by very quietly, but is good for organisation, especially in your career area, and to work quietly and persistently, maybe behind the scenes. Then the other aspect is a sextile to Chiron from Mercury. And this again is not a high energy aspect. It's one where you can maybe think about the past, think about your past wounds and see where maybe you can use those, as we said earlier with the Mars aspect, to motivate you going forward into the future. Another important day on the 28th as we have our second planet going retrograde. This time it's Neptune. Now Neptune's already been retrograde once in Pisces, so this is another opportunity to work with him if you haven't already done so. Now with Neptune in your 11th house, it's time to concentrate on friendships and relationships with colleagues and in group situations, and make sure that you are sincere within those relationships and that you cultivate proper and good relationships that are for the better of you and those people you're with. And also it's a good time to look at your ideals, your dreams and goals for the future, and make sure as well they are realistic and not just pie in the sky. Two other aspects again, Jupiter involved. One's a square to the Sun, and Jupiter's in that 12th house, so the effects may not be as dynamic as they are with other signs, but again with the Sun being now in your third house, it's a good time to get organised and to communicate and relate to people well. And the other aspect, Jupiter, is from Venus in the second house. This is very favourable for finances, and it's also a good time for having a little bit of fun, but being careful of how much money you spend. We finished the month on the 29th with the new moon. This new moon's in Cancer and it's in your third house, but it's also conjunct the Black Moon Lilith. So this is a very important one. This is very much to do with coming out of the past and moving into the present. We spoke a couple of months ago about the Sun making that conjunction with the Black Moon Lilith, and every year this happens. This is like a mini rebirth. This is a good time now to shed the past and to move bravely forward into the future. This new moon is also a very nurturing, caring new moon. This is a good time to honour your past and to see and understand that it's brought you to the point that it has, and that without the past you wouldn't be who you were. And no matter how good or bad it is, it's a springboard now for you to jump forward into the future and make the most of your opportunities. Thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the June review. If you'd like to see more, please subscribe, and if you'd like to leave me a comment, I'll be glad to hear from you.